In the interim, Google Maps is constant, and it is remarkable that it is celebrating its 15th anniversary. Stephen Fenech, as we welcome you from Tech Guide.
Good morning.
15 years. 15
years ago today, actually, February the 8th, 2005, Google Maps was launched. But a lot of people don't realise that this app that we use every day was actually conceived and designed right here in Sydney.
Wow.
The Maps team was based here locally. They did acquire a mapping company that was originating in Sydney. And it's just gone on to become this amazing feature that we use every day. It started off obviously as a web tool. So back early on, customers used to have to print out the map before they head out. But then a couple of years later, of course, the iPhone and the mobile version of Google Maps was introduced, and that just was a game changer. Back at the start, there was like 10 million people accessing Maps every day. That increased to 60 million in a year. Fast forward to today, and you're looking at billions of people looking at the Google Maps every month. But what they've done to celebrate the 15th anniversary is actually update the app with some new features and some new designs, because it's very much a tool for people, obviously, for their commute. They can see live traffic, and also, though, to give them the idea of even how many carriages are on the train, what the temperatures are going to be on the carriages. Is there a women's only section in some parts of the world? But they've also got some new features using augmented reality. There's a great new feature called Live View, where, you know, if you're trying to find your way around on a map, you don't know what way to start. With Live View, you can actually hold up your phone's camera, and it'll in the view of the camera, it'll show you arrows and directions so that you can get to where you need to be.
We've come a long way from the street directory, haven't we, when you think about it?
Absolutely.
Where am I going? And you've got the A and then the 7.
Are you holding it the right way up? Yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
The old Gregory's. Yeah.
Exactly right, yeah.
Now, going from the old Gregory's to the iPhone, and Google Maps, and yes, happy birthday, conceived in Sydney. Let's talk about phones, because the Blackberry is done and dusted.
Well, could be, yeah. Well, the Blackberry was, for the last few years, they held a licence, a partnership deal with TCL Communications, which was a TV and phone manufacturer. In 2016, they started this deal, and it kind of revived the Blackberry brand. They introduced a device that had a touch screen, was running Android, had that traditional physical keyboard. But that deal is now over. TCL are not going to renew that deal, so this could potentially be the end of this iconic device that was arguably the world's first smartphone. When you think about it, back in the early 2000s, I think everyone had a Blackberry. You guys had a Blackberry. I had a Blackberry. It was one of those things that everyone used and became so addictive. They even called it the crackberry. Do you remember that? Where there were so many people that just couldn't get off this thing, and it became such an integral part of our lives. But unfortunately now the iPhone was launched in 2007, and that really was a game changer. Samsung started making phones using the Android operating system, and Blackberry unfortunately was kind of relegated down the list. And unfortunately now, with this deal not being renewed, it could very well be the end of this iconic brand. Yeah,
and I like the iPhones, but I miss the Blackberry because I love the physical punching in.
It's just muscle memory, isn't it? That keyboard is just it's brilliant, but because the iPhone really took smartphones, it literally turned it on its head with the full screen display, the touch screen, the multi-touch. It really sort of ushered in a new era for how we use our devices on the move.
There was life before mobile phones, wasn't there? Where everybody would just turned up on time, and
that's right.
About people, and we had.
You can't text to say I'm running late.
Right.
You got to be there on time. That's right.
The first mobile phones weren't all that mobile. They were massive.
Yeah, they were in suitcases. Absolutely.
So what about home phones? People still, we don't talk about them that much, but people still need, in many areas, home phones.
Massive market in home phones. It's one of those things. I have a home phone still. I do a lot of radio at home, so I like to have that reliable connection. Thing you got to remember now, though, is that the NBN is the only way you can now get your home phone if you are in an NBN area. And I get a lot of readers and listeners asking me, look, I don't want a broadband connection. All I want is a phone, and that is possible. You can get an NBN phone plan only, not with an internet connection. A lot of people will use the internet, but others just want the home line. some elderly users. They just want to have some communication, and yeah, that is a possibility. So,
what are some of the better ones you think?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the unit-end phones. They make these great packs. The one I've got is a 4-pack, and one of the phones is actually a waterproof phone. So if I'm sitting in the pool and I need to do a radio interview, I'm ready to go. That's right. Yes, that's right. But and they've also got Bluetooth as well, so you can actually Bluetooth your mobile phone to the base station and answer your mobile calls through that as well. So no, the unit-end phones are pretty good.
Do you think they will make more of a comeback?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are on plans and they've got a lot of data, and if they're in a good reception area, they really don't need them. They are slowly declining, but I don't think they're going to go away as fast as people think. I think there's still a lot of people who still require a home phone. Yeah,
and I know my dad, like he's in the mid-80s bracket, but he relies heavily on that.
And my parents too,
yeah. Mobile phone.
Yeah, well, my parents have mobile phones, but they like a home line as well because they've got relatives overseas and they can call them for a long time. And so, yeah, I think there's still a place for it.
There you
go. Sorry, Janie.
No, I was just going to say, where are you off to next?
I was going to ask the exact same question.
Travel plans.
Where's your passport going to get sent?
Yeah, I'm off to San Francisco tomorrow for the Samsung event for their new flagship phone release, and then I'm home for a few days, then off to Barcelona for the Mobile World Congress.
How did you get your job?
Yeah, well, the Mobile World Congress is actually, there's a few companies that have pulled out because of the coronavirus. A lot of companies like LG, for example, are not sending anyone to Barcelona, so I won't be shaking hands with too many people over there.
Between you and Duro San, who does our tech on a Sunday, Marco and Polo, they cover
we get around.
The early explorers.
We certainly get around.
Well, we love the information you bring back, so thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Travel safe.